Flex your business with an American Express Business Gold Card. You'll earn 4 times membership rewards points on your top 2 eligible spending categories, like transit and electronics, each month, on up to $150K in combined purchases per year. Plus, you can now earn 3 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Terms and points cap apply. Learn more at AmericanExpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold, built for business by American Express.
Every cup of Nespresso coffee is an invitation to transform your morning routine into a ritual you can treasure each and every day. Using the Virtuo Pop, a simple touch of the button freshly brews bold aromas and a rich, velvety crema layer for delicious cafe-quality coffee at home. Whether you enjoy your coffee hot or over ice, every sip, every morning is unforgettable. Nothing tastes like Nespresso coffee. Visit Nespresso.com or our app to explore our full range of easy-to-use machines and coffees not found anywhere else.
And welcome back to Undertow Realms podcast, taking you on dark rides to the weird and the wicked. I'm your host, director, and producer, Fred Greenhalgh. Today, we have our second part and finale of the twisted novella Dead Man's Suit by Chris Bernier. Last time, we met Amelia Crane. She's the obituary writer for the dead from Magical Families in Salem, Massachusetts, who is just now realizing that the funeral of Abernathy Waid is beyond strange, even for someone in her profession. A disembodied hand is on the loose, and Amelia seems to be the only one who notices or cares, and it's only going to get weirder from here. Come with me now as we delve into the second part and conclusion of Dead Man's Suit.
Jack Lorne passed Amelia in the hallway. He was carrying an urn. "I'll trap it," he whispered to Amelia before disappearing into the viewing room. Amelia took a seat in the back of the office, behind the others. This was a first for her. Well, a few firsts. She had never been recognized for her obituary writing. There was no byline on the Inquisitor pieces, and she hadn't formed any kind of fan following. At least not that she knew of. She'd sat in on a couple of will readings at the request of the beloved kin, but this was the only time she had been named in any will. Harmony leaned over and whispered in her ear with hot, boozy breath, "I'm sorry. I was going to tell you about the will before the wake, but I was so sad, I hardly made it here." Amelia took Harmony's hand, giving it a good squeeze. A door behind the desk opened and the executor entered. She was a tall woman with broad shoulders and a stately manner. She had short-cropped dark hair and wore a hunter-green wool cape over her black dress. It was hot in the room, but that didn't seem to be bothering her. She sat and opened a folder, laying the will down on the desk in front of her. "Hello, I'm Polly Vermore. I'm here to execute the will of Abernathy Theodore Waid." Everyone shifted in their seats. Amelia liked the all-business vibe that Polly was giving off. She got right to it. "To Bluebird Rain, the daughter of my great old friends, Peter and Yuki Rain." The woman with the dark veil and the snake tattoo on her neck shifted in her seat. "I leave my classic sailboat. It's in need of repair and has been dry docked at Schmitty's Marina in Salem. But I have arranged for its refurbishment with the boatmaster there, and all expenses have been covered in advance. I hope you sail the Atlantic coast and dine on white wine and oysters, as I had the pleasure of doing with your parents all those years ago." Bluebird Rain wiped a single tear from her eye. "To my longtime mechanic, Salvacion Montague." The greasy-haired man cleared his throat. Amelia noticed that he was gripping the arms of his chair, white-knuckled. "I leave you my collection of cognacs from the world over. They value north of $30,000. If you want to find a dealer and sell them, that's fine. Probably a better move than drinking booze that valuable." "Fuck off," Salvacion Montague said, slumping down. The executor looked at him sharply and said, "There's more. Would you like me to go on?" Salvacion nodded. "Yeah, sorry." "The motorcycle collection, which you've been storing for me for some time, is yours now. There's a treasure map under the seat of the 72 Indian that will lead you to a thing of interest in the New Mexico desert. If you have the brass to pull it off, Salvacion." Sebastian clapped, pleased with the decree. He stood to leave, but Polly Vermore instructed him to sit back down until the will was done being read. To my dear Simone Hartwell, lover from my youth and object of unrequited affection for the past 50 years. The sleek elderly woman leaned in with a coquettish smile. I have had my heart removed from my body and placed it in a jar. The funeral home director will present it to you upon the final execution of the will. Simone blurted out, "Is this a joke?" Polly kept reading. "It's not a joke. You will always have my heart. You can throw it away if you like. I think you already did that years ago, no? I'm also leaving you my rare coin collection. Spend it how you like. I have no doubt it will go to fund trips to meet younger men in foreign countries." Simone wrinkled her elvish nose. To my dear granddaughter, Harmony Eliza Waid. Harmony was sitting next to Amelia in the back of the room. The others turned to look at her. Her head was down and she was crying. She took Amelia's hand. You have been the best part of my life, my diamond girl. You know how much I love you, and now is not the time to share that. You're the last of the Waid family bloodline as far as I know. As such, I leave you the mansion on Cherrywood Lane and the summer cottage in Damariscotta. Make friends, make lovers, and enjoy these family homes. Our spirits will be there as called upon. Harmony was shaking in her seat, tears flowing so fast that they were dripping off the end of her nose. Amelia rubbed her back. And lastly, Amelia Crane. Amelia looked up to Polly Vermore. She could feel Bluebird, Sebastian, and Simone's eyes burning into her. I leave you my suit. Amelia started to reel a bit. It's a special suit. I've worn it every day for over 30 years. I suggest you clean it yourself and not let it out of sight. It will assist you in your hard and essential work of documenting the lives of the recently deceased, like mine. You have a real gift, Amelia, and I've enjoyed your voice from afar. This is the least I could do. The funeral home attendants will assist you in removing the suit from my body. Amelia was gobsmacked. Why did Abernathy leave her the suit? She had to take it off his body herself? Was she required to accept it? Harmony whispered to her, Don't worry, I'll help you with the suit. Polly finished up. You are a few of the remaining descendants of the Salem colony founders. You all carry witch blood in your veins. You should be proud of that. You'll find great meaning in the belongings that I have left you, but remember, they are merely belongings. The magic comes from within. Polly Vermore sat back, closing the folder with the will and testament paperwork inside. Bluebird Rain pulled back her veil, revealing smooth ivory skin and feline features. What about the eye of Amcithea? She asked. He was required to bestow it onto one of us. Before Polly Vermore could respond, Simone Hartwell said, He's hidden it in one of the items he's left us, or maybe at the end of the treasure map that he left Sebastian. Can he do that? Bluebird implored, aghast. Simone shrugged. By old law, Polly explained, the Eye of Amcithea was required to be given to a member of another witch family upon Abernathy's death, to an individual of his choosing. I give you full assurance that it has been. Now, if you will excuse me. And with that, Polly the executor stood up and darted from the room, as if she were running from an angry dog. Great! It's a scavenger hunt to find the eye. Bluebird took her veil and hat off. Long, shiny black hair fell over her shoulders. It's in New Mexico, buried in the desert. Sebastian Montague stood up. And if I see any of you following me out there, I'll shoot you in the fucking head. Simone Hartwell rolled her eyes and let out a moan. You men and your guns. It's pretty simple, really. Abe had to leave it to one of us, but he didn't want the others knowing who. That's what he did. I applaud him. Sebastian stood over Simone, menacing. Maybe you applaud him because you already know that the eye is in with his coin collection, that you're getting it. Stand back, you idiot. Montague magic has always been weak. Don't make me flay your skin, Simone said, and she flicked her left hand, which seemed to put a tightness in Sebastian's chest. He took deep, labored breaths and gasped, "Stop it!" Simone flicked her hand again, and Sebastian let out a deep exhale as he sat back down. "You know what I think?" Simone said. "I think it's in his suit. Why else would he wear that disgusting thing all the time?" They all turned to Amelia. Simone asked her, "Let's have a look, shall we?"
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that ShopPay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
You know what's smart? Enjoying a fresh gourmet meal at home that you didn't have to cook. Meet Factor, your loophole in the laws of mealtime. Chef-crafted meals delivered with a tap, ready in just 2 minutes. You know what's even smarter? Treating yourself without cheating your goals. Factor is dietitian approved, chef prepared, and you plated. Pretty smart, huh? Refresh your routine and eat smart with Factor. Learn more at factormeals.com.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. From your morning podcast to your afternoon playlist, State Farm knows you personalize your entire day, and that's why State Farm helps you personalize your insurance with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It offers coverage options that help protect what you care about most at an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Jack Lorne caught up with Amelia outside as the mourners ate sugar cookies in the reception area. Per Polly Vermore's request, they'd moved Abernathy's body into the basement. There was a proper morgue and incinerator down there. Jack asked for Amelia and Harmony to follow him. As they were leaving, Simone called behind.
"We'll be waiting for you."
When they were in the elevator, Jack looked at Amelia. "That thing you asked me about?" He held up his hand and wriggled his fingers. "They were still intact, so I don't know what you saw." He shrugged. Amelia nodded. The runaway hand was now the least of her concerns. She turned to Harmony. "What the heck is the Eye of Amphithea?" Harmony let out a big sigh. "Blah, blah, blah. The eye of this, the newt of that, the staff of perpetual erection. They have all these ridiculous trinkets and artifacts that mean nothing, but they assign weird value to them." "They? The old witch family members?" Amelia asked. Jack's eyebrows lifted and he shot Amelia a look. "The ones who still care about this stuff? It's a total waste of time." Harmony continued as they stepped off the elevator and moved into the basement. "The Eye of Amphithea is an old brooch with a blue rock in the middle. Looks like a trinket, really. I used to play with it when I was a kid. There's no way it has any power. It has significance to the weirdos upstairs. They'd bug my grandpa about it all the time. I think it's the only reason they kept in touch with him, frankly. What does it do? Nothing. The two women followed Jack down a sparsely lit corridor and through a pair of swinging doors. That's what I'm telling you. There's no witch magic or anything like that. They just think there is because they were raised to think that way. It's supposed to let you see into someone's darkest fears, so that you can use their fears against them. But it's all bullshit. Amelia could see where Harmony was coming from. Amelia had been exposed to the so-called dark arts in her months with the Salem Inquisitor, but she'd found the belief systems and the old rituals of witchcraft to be totally ineffective. She hadn't seen anything she would characterize as magic, though many in Salem were deep believers. Amelia didn't discount magic. It was real to some. Lots of people were devoted to its pursuit, but no one could offer or point to an example of real magic. They just believed. Some traditions were weird like that. Machias Lorne wore a smock and rubber gloves. Abernathy's body rested on a metal table. Harmony walked over to his body, leaned down, and gave him a kiss on the forehead. "Hi, Pops." Amelia snuck a quick glance. Both of his hands were in place. The suit's sleeves were pulled down, concealing where they had been stitched back on. Machias explained that they had tried to remove the suit the previous night, but that they had run into complications. Amelia and Jack exchanged a look, and she had to stifle a laugh. The stoic funeral home director who was in the mafia's pocket and his goofball son. Amelia kind of loved them. "Don't worry," Harmony said. "He'll let us take it off now." She rubbed her grandfather's temples. Machias nodded to Jack, and they both got behind the corpse, lifting him up by the shoulders and holding him in a seated position. Amelia could see the dead man's eyelids start to flutter. Machias was getting red in the face and seemed a bit panicky. He turned to Amelia and shouted, "Take it off, now!" Amelia sprang forward. Abernathy let out a groan as she pulled off the jacket, and then the vest. As soon as his suit was off, they laid him back down. Jack handed Amelia a brown paper bag. "Here are the pants," he said. Machias threw a lever that fired up the nearby incinerator. He was covered in sweat. He turned to Amelia and Harmony and said, "I'd like you to leave now." Amelia folded the suit and placed it in the bag with the pants. Now, she could see where Abernathy's hands had been sewn on with steel wire, just as Jack had described. Jack led them back to the elevators. "I'm sorry that my dad was rude just now. This whole experience has thrown him for a loop." When the elevator arrived, Harmony spoke up. "Is there another way out of the funeral home? We'd like to avoid those people upstairs." Jack said, "Follow me." There was an old tomb, which hadn't been used in decades, that opened up to the lot behind the funeral home. Jack said they could get out that way, if they walked through the graveyard. That would take them to the back side of a diner, where there was a public bus stop. Amelia thanked Jack for everything and told him, "I'll come find you after this, let you know how it turns out." Jack nodded, surprised and excited at the same time. "I'd like that," he said. Amelia and Harmony had only made it a few feet into the graveyard when Harmony stopped. "They're trying to trap us in an illusion." She gestured around them. Amelia looked, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary. It was a big graveyard, stretching off and up a hill. She could see the forest beyond that. "Seems like a normal graveyard to me," she said. Harmony pointed over her shoulder. Amelia looked back the way they came. The funeral home was gone, replaced by more gravestones and tombs. The cemetery surrounded them on all sides. "I thought you said their magic was all bullshit," Amelia said. She held the brown paper bag to her chest. "It is bullshit. The only reason their illusion works is because you believe in magic." "I don't believe in magic," Amelia said, putting extra emphasis on the words. "Maybe you think you don't, but you do. I mean, I don't. And for their illusion to work, one of us has to believe in this bullshit." I've never seen magic. Have you ever been in love? No. Amelia wasn't lying. She had never been in love with another person, not even close. How about with a pet or like a favorite jacket? I had a dog that I loved when I was a kid. A bark sounded out. A little white dog stepped out from behind a tombstone. Mitzi? Amelia said. She crouched, petting the dog. Mitzi took hold of the brown paper bag and started running away with it in her muzzle. Harmony kicked the dog so hard that it dropped the bag and sailed 30 feet before disappearing behind a twisted elm tree. Why did you do that? That's not a dog. It's an illusion, and it proves that you're the one who believes in magic. We need you to stop believing, or we'll never get out of this endless graveyard. Amelia shook her head. I don't think I believe in magic. That was weird seeing my old dog, but how did I do that? You didn't. They did it. They used your beloved doggie as an illusion to try and trick you to steal the suit. Harmony raised her voice, shouting, because they are pathetic wimps who don't really have any meaningful powers. Well, how can I stop believing in magic if I see this illusion all around me? Illusions are a type of magic, right? Yeah, but it's only possible because you believe in it. Like Santa only delivers if you actually believe in him. Fuck, I need a drink. Harmony sat on a grave. Meredith Rogers, beloved wife and flutist, 1915 to 1977. When I was young, and I had to really, really stop believing, I would run around my house as fast as I could, over and over, and keep repeating, there's no such thing as magic. It was worth a shot. Let's keep walking then, Amelia said. I'll repeat your mantra to myself, and then the illusion will go away. Harmony shrugged. It should, she said. The graveyard will go back to being a graveyard, and we can find that diner and have some lunch. They walked for 20 minutes, but weren't making it any closer to the forest. Are you repeating there's no such thing as magic in your head? Harmony asked. Amelia said that she was, and then she asked if Harmony was too. I don't have to. I told you, I don't believe in magic. It's the only way I can survive. Harmony made a weary expression. She did look like she could really use a drink. Amelia was starting to realize that there was more to what was happening than Harmony was letting on. It was layered and deeply personal for the last remaining member of the Waid clan. How about we say the words aloud, together, as we walk? Amelia suggested. Harmony loved that idea. She had never denied magic with someone else. They tried that for an hour. It didn't seem to be working. If we're in an illusion, where are we really? Amelia asked. We're in a graveyard. Right, but we're 10 miles deep into a graveyard now. But you say this graveyard doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Where are we? Our real bodies, not what we are perceiving. Amelia was trying to understand the rules here so that she could help them arrive at a solution. Harmony thought about this for a moment. We're probably right behind the funeral home, walking in place. Amelia turned in a circle, scanning around. Which way was the non-visible building? Maybe Jack Lorne was back there at the window watching them walk in place for the past 2 hours. If I give them the suit, will they turn off the illusion? Harmony became very quiet. You can't give them the suit. Please, my grandfather left it to you. Of all the things I never wanted, being stuck in a haunted graveyard pretty much tops the list, Amelia said. She rested against an obelisk monument. You shouldn't have said it was haunted, Harmony said. A skeleton hand burst out from the ground, grabbing for the brown paper bag. Amelia screamed as Harmony dragged her away. Skeletons rose up in all directions, some fresher bodies too, in delightfully reanimated zombie form. All of the zombies were smiling as they pulled themselves free from the muck. Amelia kept screaming as she followed Harmony, weaving through the onslaught. "I made this happen?" "It's okay," Harmony shouted. "We'll make them go away." Amelia's mind raced. Make them go away? They hadn't been able to defuse the illusion, no matter how much they tried to deny the existence of magic. And now they were being attacked by a horde of the undead. They came around a tomb and nearly ran into a pack of ravenous skeletons. As they backpedaled, a heavy-set zombie rushed them from behind. The wild bones lunged at them. Harmony slipped and hit her head on a ledge, knocking herself unconscious. Amelia wanted to throw up. The skeletons were piling on top of Harmony and pressing ever closer to her. Amelia reached into the bag and pulled out the suit jacket. She put it on. It fit loosely and smelled like cherry cough drops. The zombies turned their attention away from Harmony and pressed in on Amelia, grabbing at the jacket's wool lapel and cuffs. She kicked and threw wild punches. Bones exploded under her wrath, sending fragments flying. But there were just too many damn dead freaks rushing at her. Isn't that always the problem? She barked and hissed and grunted at the zombies, which made them flinch as she took hold of Harmony's legs. Amelia dragged Harmony into a small tomb and slammed the door shut behind them, severing 5 zombie arms and 2 legs as she went. "Fuck off!" she screamed, and everything went quiet. Amelia gently slapped at Harmony's cheeks until she woke up. "You put on the suit jacket," Harmony said with a smile. "You should wear the rest." Amelia donned the suit, rolling up the sleeves and pant legs so that she had good freedom of movement. "That doesn't look too bad," Harmony said. "I guess you must have taken care of the dead things when I was out." There was a knock on the tomb's door. "Hello in there." Harmony grew pale. "Who's that?" Amelia asked. Harmony shook her head and started repeating the no magic mantra under her breath. "Can I come in?" the voice outside asked. Harmony was crying. "That's a cheap and dirty trick," she said. And that's when Amelia knew that Bluebird Rain, Sebastian Montague, and Simone Hartwell had sent the illusion of Harmony's grandfather, or perhaps the reanimated corpse, to weaken them in hope of acquiring the suit. Harmony curled up in a ball in the corner of the tomb. "I'm coming in," Abernathy Waid called out. "No!" Amelia snapped back. Just give us a moment." Amelia crouched down and put her hand on Harmony's shoulder. "Listen to me. This is all pretty fucked up by my version of reality, but I can tell you've been through a lot, and I can also tell that you're a really good and strong person. I need your help, because I don't want to die or be trapped in this graveyard forever." Harmony looked up at her. "Your grandfather may have left me this suit, and the eye of Emcedia somewhere on it. I have no idea what that means, but he left you his legacy, the family home. You're the last Waid left." Amelia took a pause. "And I think you know magic. A lot of magic, and you've been holding back. So stop holding back." Harmony stood up and walked from the tomb. Amelia trailed behind her. When they got outside, Abernathy was waiting in his undershirt and boxer shorts. "Kind of cold out here," he said with a sweet smile. "I could sure use my..." But before he could finish, Harmony held up a finger. "Come out," she called. "You're hiding because you're weaker than me. I won't let you prey on my reluctance any longer. I'm done playing around." Harmony closed her eyes and started shaking her fists, concentrating. She cried out, "He was my pops, and I was his diamond girl." And with that, her skin took on an icy, crystalline sheen, like a diamond. She radiated a hurricane of white light out from her eyes that broke the graveyard, scattering it like fragments of a dying mirror and sweeping the illusion of Abernathy away with it. 3 crows sailed towards the horizon, and Harmony cursed to them as they went. Amelia and Harmony emerged from the small section of forest at the far side of the graveyard. They tucked into a booth at the Stella Diner and ordered cheeseburgers and milkshakes. "I thought you said magic didn't exist," Amelia said. She wanted to follow that with, "What took you so long?" But she could tell that Harmony had been through a lot her whole life, and a whole lot more after losing her grandfather. Magic doesn't exist. It's something inside of us, something you need to be careful with. I've learned that the hard way. I've tried to have a normal life, but it's in my blood. Amelia didn't press further. Before they were done eating, Harmony showed her where the eye of Amcelia was hidden, sewn into the bottom of the suit jacket's inner pocket. If you didn't know it was there, you wouldn't have even noticed it. I think he wanted you to have it because he likes how you look at the world. If the eye shows you a person's worst fears, maybe you'll use it for something good. They drove back to Salem in Harmony's station wagon and talked about Abernathy the whole way. By the time they got to Salem, it was dark, and they were exhausted. Amelia had Harmony drop her off at the newspaper office. They would be seeing each other. Amelia hung the suit jacket on the back of her office chair. The next day, she wrote Abernathy's obituary. Abernathy Theodore Waid, 1929 to 2024. When Abernathy Waid was 12, he got attacked by a vicious dog. It was Christmas Eve, and he was on his way back from ice skating with friends at Town Pond. He was walking on the trail behind Potter's Glen when he was met by Trumbo, an elderly St. Bernard. The dog was sick and had been eating the discarded remains of a poached deer when Abernathy came upon him. Abernathy didn't run. He smiled, held up his hands, and said, "Nice boy." The dog raced at him and knocked him to the ground before mauling his head. Abernathy would live with the noticeable scars on his face and neck for the rest of his life. He refused plastic surgery to repair them. As Trumbo was tearing off a good bit of Abernathy's ear, an owl swept down and attacked the dog. This gave the boy enough time to pull free. He left a trail of blood as he ran home. He could feel a hole in his right cheek and wriggled a finger in through the wound in hopes that it would stop up the bleeding. His parents rushed him to the hospital, and he spent the rest of winter break in bed with bandages on his face. A few days after the incident, his dad told him that Trumbo's owner had decided to put the dog down. Abernathy was upset and protested. He said that he wanted to talk to the owner. His parents were surprised and startled. His father told him, "When a dog attacks someone like that, they need to die." Abernathy didn't understand what good killing the dog would do. He didn't admit it then, but he had started to feel a strong connection to Trumbo. Being attacked by an animal that beautiful was kind of like surviving a wound from a prestigious night on a battlefield. Who were we to decide the instincts of creatures? They put the dog to sleep the next day. When he discovered that Trumbo wasn't going to receive a burial, the still bandaged 12-year-old Abernathy Waid snuck out of his house at night, braving the winter cold, to head out to the veterinarian's office. He used bolt cutters to break into the shed where they kept the dogs that weren't right for burying. Trumbo was frozen and weighed over 200 pounds. There was no way Abernathy was going to be able to transport him to be buried, and the ground was too frozen to dig any graves. There were 10 dogs in there. He decided to set fire to the little shed behind the vet's office and send the dogs out with a Viking funeral. He said the Lord's Prayer 17 times, praying until the fire trucks arrived. By then, the animals were nearly down to ash. No one ever knew who started the fire. He was a scholar, a soldier, a marksman, a professional poker player, and an oyster expert. He is survived by his beloved granddaughter, Harmony Eliza Waid.
And that was Dead Man's Suit Part 2. I hope you enjoyed that twisted tale. We'll be moving on to our second trio in the Nightmare Novellas next week. This will coincidentally be another story that deals with unexpectedly strange things being bequeathed after a death, an inheritance that is not so kind. This one is a house of horrors in northern England, Old England, not New England, in Catherine Silva's The Collection. Stay tuned here to Undertow for that one. Dead Man's Suit was written by Chris Bernier, performed by Dominique Salvacion, with editing and sound design by Rory O'Shea. Music by Epidemic Sound and Blue Dot Sessions. Produced by yours truly, Fred Greenhalgh, as a Dagaz Media production for Realm. Undertow is a production of Realm, hosted by Fred Greenhalgh. Associate produced by Devin Shepard. Executive produced by Fred Greenhalgh and Molly Barton.
From the podcast that brought you to each of the last lesbian bars in the country and back in time through the sapphic history that shaped them, comes a brand new season of cruising beyond the bars. This is your host, Sarah Gabrielli, and I've spent the past year interviewing history-making lesbians and queer folks about all kinds of queer spaces, from bookstores to farms to line dancing and much more.
For 11 years, every night women slept illegally on the common.
We would move down to the West Indies to form a lesbian nation.
Meg Kristen coined the phrase women's music, but she would have liked to say it was lesbian music.
And that's kind of the origins of the Comedy River Collective.
You can listen to Cruising on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes air every other Tuesday starting February 4th.
You should listen to the GamesIndustry.biz microcast.
More people are playing games than ever before. They've never been more popular, and yet the business behind it is facing some real challenges and changes.
There's been tens of thousands of layoffs, hundreds of studio closures as major companies face rising costs and falling sales.
There's uncertainty around the future of game consoles.
There's legal and government intervention into how games are even being paid for.
The role of AI is changing how games are being made.
There's the impact of games like Fortnite and Roblox dominating everyone's time.
And then there's the desperate wait for Switch 2 and GTA 6, and that's just 2024.
Two leading business journalists with a combined 35 years of experience offer you a weekly guide through all of this and more.
I'm Christopher Dring, head of GamesIndustry.biz.
I'm James Batchelor, editor-in-chief of GamesIndustry.biz, and you can join us every Monday for the GamesIndustry.biz microcast.
The most important stories,
expert guests,
exclusive market data,
and all in less than 30 minutes.
Usually.
The GamesIndustry.biz microcast every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.